entertainment for you tonight. I'd just like to read this short piece here before one of the things that we look forward to is having David Simmons with us and enjoying his music. So I just have this piece. I was asked a few times recently as we planned this event what the tie-in between Al Purdy and the Millennium Trail was. I could have kicked at the ground and mentioned Wellington was Purdy's middle name, or that he had family ties to the Rosses from here. Perhaps Al's backyard is a stretch when he did live all the way over there on Robin Lake, a few clicks northeast of the trail. But Al bought a hammer once at the hardware store, and it's only 2 blocks from the story path. Well, April is National Poetry Month, and this date, April 21st, is Al Purdy Day, and Al loved to walk. He would walk the mile from his A-frame home into Ameliasburg daily to collect the mail. Letters were a lifeblood for him. Another connection of poetry, the trail, and walking could be like the author Robert Louis Stevenson described on one of his extended walks. For my part, he said, I travel not to go anywhere, but to go. The great affair is to move, to feel the needs and hitches of our life more nearly, to come down from off this feather bed of civilization and find the globe granite underfoot and strewn with cutting flints. Aristotle, Rousseau, Thoreau, Baudelaire, Wordsworth, all walked, all felt the granite underfoot. Here's one more tie-in I could make. I could say that a couple of years before Al left us, the trains stopped running through here and the rail corridor is now a haven for walking. If we were gathered here 13 years ago, as we are tonight, it would likely happen that periodically we would feel the ground move, and my voice would disappear into the cry of the diesel, the heavy ore trains that once crept by our back door, hauling remnants of Canadian Shield pulled from the ground of Marmora to the north of us to be dropped into lake boats anchored in the deep water of Picton Harbor. Backyards. Al Purdy knew them, and he knew trains. Not necessarily glamour travel. He began to mine the side roads and the townships and the cracks in the sidewalks of our imagination after leaving here on his first train ride. Yes, that one. A kid of 17, it was the time of the Depression, and Purdy heard the call of the highball and climbed onto the roof of a boxcar, heading west out of Trenton. The steel highway was leading somewhere, and Purdy needed to know where somewhere was, and what somewhere and the people who lived there knew. Oh, he would eventually explore parts of the globe, but importantly for all of us was that in this backyard, in this region, in this nation, stood his never-full tool shed, his back puddle storage place where he gathered words like a hermit after sticks of firewood. Al would shelter them to dry, cure them, for his life purpose depended on them. And then when the moment was right, he would come out of hiding and run about with his words igniting campfires in our back places. Gotcha, he could say. His investigations were not necessarily of the pretty places. Al was not that kind of guy. He wrote for years what he thought was good poetry, then decided it wasn't. It went into the fire. Sure, Al knew the manicured lawns and front doors that show to the road, the verandas that are decorated and everything is right. But Al Purdy was more at home tramping through the mood of experience, the back 40 midden dumps where the debris and remnants of who we are often tossed and hidden. From out of the chaos and bits and pieces of our collective thought, Purdy made art. He gardened our world so we could see it more clearly. In his home stands a bust of D.H. Lawrence. Purdy was a deep admirer of the author, who once said, when genuine passion moves you, say what you've got to say, and say it hot. And so Al Purdy did. He said it so we could feel the ground move when we touched the ancient granite, the hard rock where we winter in our souls. He told us that spring will come if we speak its name. When we tell about the land, when we walk the soil of hidden places. Al Purdy was the people's poet, and he gave us something to think about, to smile at, and to dig for. He gave us something that we didn't have before our encounter with him. And so that is why we have chosen to be here tonight. So, live from Al's backyard, we'll hear from David Sweet, from Louise O'Donnell, Lawrence Cornett, Jeff Heinrichs, and others. And we'll hear the voice of Al Purdy himself in Dave Purdini's short film. And towards the end of the evening, we'll have a special screening of Yours, Al. This is an amazing film. I just screened it just recently. It's an amazing, insightful film on the life of Al Purdy, starring Gordon Pinsent, and produced by Real to Real Productions with CBC. But as I wind this down, here's something else to think about. For those of you those of all of us who know the work of David Simmons, he's right here now to remind us that the news is not all bad. Thank you very much, David.